Alright folks, so what we're going to be doing tonight is a little bit of meal prep. Fixing some chicken leg quarters. Kroger had them on sale. And they're great keto meat because they're high fat, that thigh and that leg, high fat, that skin, high fat, high protein. So we're doing some crispy baked chicken leg quarters using leg quarters I got from Kroger. Right now, ingredients, simple enough. We got chicken leg quarters, and this is 10 pounds of them. It's 9 leg quarters in there. We have some soy sauce. I'm using light soy sauce because I had that on hand. I'm also going to use, I'm going to try out this teriyaki sauce. Now the recipe, and I'm going to link the recipe in the description. But I found this Green Valley Ranch sugar-free teriyaki sauce. So I'm going to try that out with it. And then for my seasonings, I'm using Creole seasoning, some black pepper. With chicken, gotta use some paprika, some garlic powder, some onion powder, and then I'm going to also use some Mesquite smoked Pacific sea salt. Alright. So our first step, while we're going to be prepping our meat to go into the oven, is to set the oven to 375. Now we're going to work on our chicken. So what I'm going to do with the seasonings that I have, I'm going to season the meat, and I'm going to season the meat trying to get up under the skin of the chicken as much as I can, and also sprinkling some on top of the chicken as well and on the underside of the chicken. And I'm also going to, while I'm also seasoning that, I'm going to mix up a half a cup of soy sauce. And this is basically a double portion. The recipe calls for 4 chicken leg quarters. So since I have 9 here, or a whole 10-pound bag, the recipe calls for half a cup of soy sauce. Now, so I'm gonna use both of these. I'm gonna use a half a cup of soy sauce and a half a cup of this Green Valley Ranch teriyaki sauce. Alright, and my seasonings, I'm gonna season to taste. This is a half a cup of soy sauce and a half a cup of that teriyaki sauce. I'm gonna mix it up real good. And what I'm gonna do with this is get out my brush, and I'm gonna brush the skin of the chicken with this, getting up under the actual skin, brush the meat of the chicken underneath the skin, and do that with about half of it, and then the other half I'm gonna pour over the skin. Alright, that's mixed well and good. A tablespoon of each one of my seasonings, with the exception of my salt, because of the soy sauce, it's gonna get salty enough. And then a couple of other seasonings had some salt in it, so I just used about a half tablespoon of the actual salt. But all of that's mixed up real good, and what I'm going to do is season my meat, and like I said, I'm going to get up under the skin with the seasoning, and also I'm going to use some of the seasoning on the top and the bottom of it. Alright, I'm going to do my sauce first, so get it good and wet, brush my sauce in there first, and then I'm going to season it with my seasoning. Alright folks, I lied. I've mentioned before I'm an advocate for keeping things simple. So after trying to brush one of these, I'm not going to sit here for an hour brushing all of these chicken leg quarters inside and out. So here's what I did. That cup of sauce, so half a cup of teriyaki sauce and half a cup of the soy sauce that I mixed up real well, I poured it all over this chicken, and I just mixed it all up real well, got it all good and in there, okay? And then I sprinkled over my seasoning and did the same thing. I mixed it all up in there, okay? So there's seasoning all over everything, there's sauce all over everything. That chicken's ready to go into the oven, and it took me 5 minutes versus the 30 minutes or an hour that I would have been sitting here brushing into each individual piece. So that's what our chicken looks like going before it goes into the oven. I tell you, this stuff smells phenomenal right now. And it's not even cooked yet. It's making me hate that I'm done with my eating for today. I'm in my fasting window right now. So this is the next step. Since I've doubled the recipe to use up that whole bag of chicken, I've got 2 glass. This is the glass Pirate Square dish. I got two of them, two big baking dishes, 13 by 9 dishes, and I have it lined with aluminum foil. And what I'm going to do next is place my chicken in these dishes. Alright, we had to make a modification again. Sorry, this is my first time making this recipe. So these are some big old chicken leg quarters, and you don't want to overcrowd the pan. So I just so happen to have one of these big old aluminum foil pans, and it's going to do the same thing as this aluminum foil lined glass pan. So I got most of my chicken leg quarters in here, so they got space. They're not all on top of each other. And then I got the rest of them in this one right here. Alright, now these are ready to go into the oven. Alright, once I got them all laid out there, what I did was pour over, there was some of that sauce mix left over in the bottom of the bowl. I poured it over them, and then I sprinkled on a little bit more of the garlic powder and my Creole seasoning, just sprinkled a little bit more over it, and a little bit more of my paprika, because I can never have enough paprika on my chicken. Alright, that is ready to go into the oven. And so we're going to bake this at 375 for an hour. Once that hour is over with, we're going to turn it up to 400 and bake it another 15 minutes. And if it needs to go longer than that, we'll let it go longer than that. The whole point is you want it to be completely done. Leg quarters, it's a piece of meat that is very easy to undercook. So we want to cook it to a temperature of 165 internally. It's a very thick piece, so if it needs to go longer than that, we'll let it go longer than that. But next thing is going into the oven. Alright, that's at an hour. Now we're going to up our temperature to 400 degrees and let them go for about 15 more minutes. That's the finished product out of the oven. Look at that crispy skin. That is a crispy baked chicken leg quarters. I'm gonna put the macros on the screen. I'll check in with you all next time.